I'm going to talk to you today about a project that we call Chillicothe Bottoms. It's part of a multi-year program that we have on the Illinois River tied to the Illinois Wildlife Action Plan. And the stories I'm going to share about connecting lands, connecting people to the land is about how we're trying to go about accomplishing our conservation objectives. Chillicothe Bottoms, to give you a sense of place, it's 232 acres that we purchased from it used to be a private duck club that sits between the small city of Chillicothe and the Illinois River. It adjoins a property owned and managed by the Department of Natural Resources. And it's like a microcosm of the types of natural areas that we used to see in the Illinois River Valley. It has forests, bottomland forests, it has wetlands, it has about a half a mile of frontage on the Illinois River. So it's a great little natural area jewel right there next to the city of Chillicothe. And it also has a tie to several of the species that have been identified in the Wildlife Action Plan. There are species of concern or of particular management emphasis. I've got 4 of them up here. The plant, the current false aster, actually is not in the Wildlife Action Plan because it focuses more on animals, but it's a federally listed threatened plant, and it's also a concern to us on the property. So the goals we set up for this particular project, again, kind of relate to these themes and our strategies of trying to protect and manage this 232 acres, trying to also, a second goal, trying to build the local capacity and support for conservation, and a third of trying to develop some access that engages people in the property. So again, all this is part of a strategy that we've done where we embrace the Wildlife Action Plan. The Wildlife Action Plan is like a biological blueprint from the 30,000-foot elevation level that goes into the state and identifies these different campaigns. And our project, like many other projects you hear about, tie into one or more of these campaigns. And the Wildlife Action Plan then drills itself down geographically. It goes from state to natural divisions, 13 natural divisions. And then within each natural division it has these conservation opportunity areas. And then it has these different objectives for habitats or for wildlife associated with it. And so we're trying to look at our projects, how they tie directly into the plan. And our project is just one of about 3 that we have right in the area. And so each of these projects ends up being like a conservation puzzle piece that we're fitting onto the landscape to fit with the other puzzle pieces that are out there to create the picture that we want to see in terms of this network of conservation lands. And a plan is just a plan unless you got people who become motivated to implement it. So another theme or strategy that we've had is this idea of connecting people, creating conservation partnerships of people who have shared interests and who want to work together towards common conservation goals. So this is something that we're doing, and all the work that we're doing is creating these partnerships. One of our partnerships at Chillicothe Bottoms involves the Peoria Audubon, and it's a really great group to work with. Although when you look at this picture, it looks like Maury and I are about to kick each other's ass out here. But these guys and gals have been great. They, they're an active, motivated group. And one of the things that they're doing is they leaped right in to start doing an avian survey of the area. So we're collecting a baseline of bird use that we can use to help develop our management goals and objectives and monitor how things are going, including going back to these key species that are identified in the Wildlife Action Plan. So a great partner. Another reason that Peoria Audubon is kind of exciting to me to work with is if you look at wildlife viewing and hunting, there's a lot of people out there doing it, and it's a big economic enterprise. And in Illinois, wildlife viewing and hunting amounts to about $2.5 billion of economic activities every year. So it's a neat partnership as well from that aspect. Another conservation partner that's been really important to us has been the Illinois River Road National Scenic Byway. This is one of 7 different byways in Illinois. The Illinois River Road is a nature-based byway, so they're using the intrinsic beauty of the Illinois River and the conservation areas and the idea of nature-based tourism as the vehicle for the byway. And there's some real advantages for us working with the byway. One is that we have an opportunity to have our projects listed as waypoints on the byway. As a waypoint, we potentially have the ability to use the byway to provide interpretive information either on site or on their website that helps tell the story about this conservation work. And the byway helps provide these different wayfinding signage to get people to the conservation areas. It's a great hook for us to tie into local communities that are on the river and where riverfront development is an important thing. and a hook to tie into local retail businesses that are depending on this nature-based tourism to help them be successful and thrive. So a couple other partners that we're reaching out to are the city of Chillicothe, a small community there, the Chillicothe Park District, and the Peoria Casting Club, a private fishing club. And these particular entities actually end up being adjacent property owners to us at the Chillicothe Bottoms property. And they have some infrastructure out there that we hope to use and access to help us, again, bring people to these sites and engage them in the conservation work we're doing. So when we bought this property, we just had the good fortune that this infrastructure was already there. And again, it's a hook for us to reach out to these different entities and bring them in as partners. The last important theme is this idea of connecting people to land, bringing people out, having them be able to personally experience these sites to where that experience helps build their own personal support for conservation and interest in it. We do it with our members. We try to do it with our conservation partners. And one of the particular things is tying in together with young people and engaging young people and figuring out how we can continue to engage these future conservation leaders at Chillicothe Bottoms and other places that we're working on. And the last thing I want to mention is that the things that we're doing here would not be possible without some framework of support. And so there's several different organizations that have been very instrumental in enabling our organization and other organizations to go out and be able to do this kind of work. So really excited about this and about the ongoing dialogue we have about the Wildlife Action Plan.